Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 23rd, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see we got some clouds out here across the Pacific Ocean. We're going to take a look to see what the track of this is going to take here in a moment. There's the Pacific Northwest off to the right of this image. You can see some high clouds moving across the region right now. Taking a look at lightning strikes over the last 24 hours. This was mainly yesterday morning across portions of Oregon, and as we went a little bit later in the not in the later morning hours here in the early afternoon. Some of this was moving across portions of Idaho and Montana as well. No lightning strikes across Washington. A few strikes there for the interior higher terrain of British Columbia and Alberta for that matter. Now, if you want your own affordable home weather station, does its own lightning detection with it, ultrasonic anemometer, solar powered. Click on the link down below to save 10% off. Highly recommend this station. Great deal for the price. And taking a look at what is going on right now across the region, you can see Quilly at 43 degrees. You can see Tillamook at 41. You go down the Oregon coast, you can see some mid and upper 40s out there as we speak. You can see Roseburg checking in right now at about a 55-degree reading, and not much in the way of precipitation right now here across the region. I'll be going over some of those details here more in a moment, as we've got some interesting activity coming Sunday night and on into Monday morning. Some thunderstorms are going to probably ride up the Cascades east. We'll take a look at that here in some detail as well. If you want to go to the Patreon page here, it's a great way to get updates of when I release my daily videos as well. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so here as well. The link is down below. Now, looking at thunderstorm potential today, you can see we do have that chance for eastern Oregon, Idaho, and some of Montana. I'm actually going out here. I'm going to do my route qual. I'll be flying in the cockpit of an Alaska Airlines jet out to Denver this morning, and I'm going to try to chase this afternoon and evening. You see a little 2% tornado chance out there, but yeah, that's what I'll be doing today after I complete this video. Taking a look at day 2, you can see that moving off across portions of Idaho, southwest Montana, and then on day 3, this would be for Sunday in towards Monday morning here. So this may be extended northward here as we go through the day tomorrow. Now, looking at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. And this gives a good idea of general ridge and trough position. You can see Washington, Oregon, there's British Columbia, Idaho. I'll put this into motion, and we try to build this ridge temporarily. It's going to keep things dry for the most part for a lot of the Pacific Northwest over the next few days. But the trough is not that far away, and it will be bringing some pretty persistent precipitation into western British Columbia. And as we go through Sunday and on through Sunday night, you can see how this trough starts to get closer to the coastline, and we're going to start spreading some thunderstorms back up and across the region as we go through Sunday night. Probably some nocturnal thunderstorms moving across the Cascades and eastern portions of eastern Washington and eastern Oregon. So taking a look at that, system moves through, then we start to build a ridge here as we go on in towards next week. So we may warm up a day or two there as well, and as you can see, that ridge is going to be with us towards the end of the European forecast. Now stick with me here. I'm going to show you some stuff here on the European for the extended forecast in a moment. You're going to want to see. Now taking a look at precipitation, you can see not much in the way of precipitation here for Washington, Oregon, Idaho. You can see that kind of the storm track pointed in towards Haida Gwaii and some of western British Columbia here over the next couple of days. So pretty nice weekend coming up, all things considered. And then as we go through Sunday night into Monday, you see this activity here. That's that convection firing off across the higher terrain as we go all the way on through Monday morning and lifting across all the way up into British Columbia there as well. We do start to get some light precipitation on the day Monday for maybe Seattle, Portland. It shouldn't really amount to much, and then we start to dry out again as we really ramp up a ridge here as we go on in through next week. And then we'll take a look at that and kind of see the precipitation for the most part fairly light here for places like Seattle, Portland, and southwest BC over the next 5 to 6 days. And also, I should point that out, there is that regime of some inland thunderstorm activity here that I mentioned a few slides ago. Now, looking at lightning flash density potential, I want to kind of concentrate on this Sunday night. You can kind of see that convection ride up the Cascades, places like Bend, Yakima, the Tri-Cities out there, places along the Cascade crest and just east under that thunderstorm threat as we go on in through the day on Monday. Now, taking a look at composite reflectivity, again, kind of just driving another point. We don't have much going on here in the short term. If I back this up, you can see a few showers trying to pop off across some of eastern Oregon, maybe northeast Washington there. I can't rule out a lightning strike with some of this activity, especially across some of eastern Oregon down there. And then we go on in through Saturday morning here. We're now going on through Saturday afternoon. Not much in the way of precipitation. And then you can see the next system gearing up off the coastline there. That's what's going to help to start to spread that convection up and across the region, starting across the Oregon Cascades Sunday evening and then moving up as we go through Sunday night into Monday morning. Now, take a look at this. For Seattle Tacoma International Airport, this is a good example of the control run versus the ensembles. So look at the control run. It's just kind of doing its own thing through the extended forecast. Shows an 80-degree day there all the way out into early June, then shows some mid and upper 80s and maybe a couple 90-degree days there. But when you see that there, you might have just looked at that deterministic run and just said like, wow, it's going to get really warm in the first week of June. But look at the ensemble mean, a much more reasonable low to mid 70s out there, because the control run is on the higher, in fact, the most extreme envelope of the ensemble members. And you can also see the warm up coming here as we go through this upcoming day on Wednesday, probably peaking into the 80s here for Seattle and a lot of the Pacific Northwest, getting rather warm. So I'll show you more on that here in a moment. And you can see that 80-degree there, and then you see a bit more seasonable before we start to warm up there in the European deterministic run. But again, the ensemble members do not show it getting that hot. But that's something we'll kind of watch here as we go through the first week of June. Here's Yakima showing some of that convective available potential energy, kind of switching gears here, and I'm showing you that instability in the atmosphere for places like Yakima as we go on in through Sunday night into Monday morning. Same thing for Bend Municipal Airport, east slopes of the Cascades of Oregon. Now looking at National Blended Models, daily 2-meter max temperature. This is today, May 23rd, Friday, Seattle, upper 60s. Again, quite a nice day out there. Some low 70s for Portland and a bit warmer there east of the mountains. And we go on in towards Saturday. Look at that Boise peaking into the lower 80s. Look at Seattle, mid 70s. What a nice day out there. Some upper 70s trying to get in there to the Willamette Valley, mid 80s there for some of the Columbia Basin. We go to Sunday, a little bit of a cool down there. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at that Wednesday. I talked about that. Pretty good confidence here that we are going to be ramping up some of these temperatures. Look at Southwest BC, some of the interior areas into the mid 80s there. Some of Western Washington as well. Portland maybe topping out towards 90 degrees there. Eastern Washington as well. Then we cool back down a bit Thursday, Friday. And the National Blended Models, of course, is not latched onto that very warm solution through the extended, and we're really not out that far. But yeah, anyway, we'll continue to watch. Now, looking at the artificial intelligence, this is last night's run. So if we put this into motion, you can see the trough right off our coastline. There go to the thunderstorms as we go through Sunday night into Monday. The trough is fairly deep out there. It's going to amplify this ridge as we go through next week, but just some kind of temporary warmth there as we get another system kind of pinwheeling towards the coastline. But then in the wake of that, you can kind of see what the European was hinting at with some of this ridging really getting established here across the Pacific Northwest. We'll see just how long that is going to be holding on. How long will this ridge try to dominate out over the Gulf of Alaska? And then you see kind of a little bit of a low moving down over the Pacific Northwest and doing a little bit of the funky chicken there as we go through the first week of June as well. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. We're just kind of looking at fantasy forecast possibilities at this point. So looking at 15-day precipitation anomaly, as you can imagine, we have a big below normal signal here through the next 15 days. But if you go north portion of Vancouver Island off into western British Columbia on into southeast Alaska, we have an above average signal there. So 6 to 10 day temperature, you can see 6 to 10 days still kind of a near normal here across the Pacific Northwest, we'll call it. So anyway, I'm going to go hop on this plane. Hopefully I can get on there. It's a part of what a dispatcher has to do. We have to ride in the cockpit each year for about 5 hours or so, give and take, and it's to familiarize us with what the pilots are doing in the air, because we talk back and forth. I will communicate back and forth with my planes as they're going through severe weather, turbulence, all kinds of stuff, updating weather at different airports that they may be flying into and things like that. So it's a good idea for me to ride along with them, and I just make sure that they get to ask me questions too, and I get to ask them questions and see when they are busiest. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, I may live stream today as well out in Colorado if it ends up looking pretty good, and I will be by myself, so maybe just you guys can keep me company and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again, and I may talk to you guys again later here today.